on in. Come on in the room. Click it, click it. Waiting for you all to come on in. Click it. Come on in the room. Come on in the live. Click it when you see it. Come on in. Come on in. Waiting for YouTube to catch it up and send out the notification. You all come on and click it. Click it. Let's talk about it. Talk about it returning to where you came from. And I'm basing this off of fighting. What are you fighting and who are you fighting? And how are you fighting? Because we do have a fight. Thank you all for coming on to the channel. I try to produce and present Christian content here from a Christian perspective, whether I'm doing a reaction video or talking on social matters and culture from a biblical perspective. So let's talk about the fight. And the Bible encourages us, and I'm coming from the book of 2 Peter, encourages us to stay with the fight, that if we accept righteousness, and we are learning of God's right way, because you have already learned the knowledge of who Jesus is. You are on your journey. You're developing a relationship with him. And we're encouraged to stay with that. Because if you accept the knowledge, you're not unlearned. You accept the knowledge and then you turn back and allow yourself to be entangled with your old ways. You go right back as if you're an unlearned person. You don't know what Jesus teaches. You don't know what the scripture espouses. But you lend to your emotions. We all can lend to our emotions because that's who we are. We are emotional creatures, especially us women. But we have to learn to push past our emotions, execute past emotions, and come up to what God calls us to. Emotions are not totally done away with. We got to fight through those emotions. And when they're at their all-time high of disappointment, rejection, hurt, anger, sadness, it's time to slow down with decision making. Because you can make a bad decision in haste, built and based off emotions. You don't want to do that. And the same for men, but we women, we know that we are pretty prone to being emotional, especially in decision-making skills. Emotions didn't go away, but you got to fight through those emotions. But what I want to encourage is, and I want to give a little testimony here to back this up a little bit. A couple of years ago, not a couple, it's been a while, maybe about 17 years, might not be quite that far back. On a job, I was involved with a project, and it was concerning inventory. We had a lot of equipment that had to be inventoried. So we was in the midst of this inventory, and it lasted a couple of days. And at one junction, I was in my department working, and another employee came to my area and said that they need you in the supervisor's office. Now, the supervisor was high up in rank. This was a chief person, and he was meeting with his junior leaders. So everybody was in a leadership position that was in the office. And this person, employee, ran to my area to get me and said they need you in the conference room. So I went, or whether in the supervisor's office, not the conference room. So I went over, not knowing what I'm walking into. I was not back briefed, or nobody gave me any hints, or just helped me out to what I'm walking into. I'm walking into this code. So when I walk in, and I hadn't directly crossed the threshold into the supervisor's office yet, but I'm walking up to it. And as I'm walking up to it, another senior leaders, remember there's a lot of senior leaders in this area. He kind of bumped me with his elbow. He's saying, tell the truth. So I'm still wondering, what is this about? He's saying, tell the truth. So I crossed the threshold into the manager's office, chief leader. He's very high up in position. And there, my boss is sitting in the office with two other people that's they're equal in, positions, my boss and the two other people. And they're sitting across the desk from their boss. So when I stepped through the doorway, I made eye contact briefly with my supervisor, just out of respect to acknowledge her. And then I looked directly to her boss, because that's the person who summoned me and that's the person who is addressing me. So he greeted me, and then he went on to ask me, so what do you say about the inventory? Where are we? Now, I'm kind of like, wait a minute. I'm the junior person in the room. Why are you asking me? My boss is sitting here. You're going to ask me this over her? So I'm kind of reluctant to answer. I made contact with her again. I'm still kind of baffled. Why you call me? You can have my boss in the room. She is to brief you. Why me? So I don't know if I say yes, we're good with the inventory, or no, we have a ways to go with the inventory. I don't know which answer to give. I don't know which one is going to be the wrong answer that my boss don't agree with it. So I'm keeping my eyes locked on her boss now, because now I feel like I'm in a pickle. I don't know which way to go with this answer. So I gave the answer that was true. I said, we got a long way to go. We're not just about finished. My boss switched around in her chair because she was facing me. When I walked to the room, she looked up at me. I made eye contact with her and then looked at her boss. So when I said that, because I'm standing in the doorway, she switched back around in her chair. So I immediately know that was the wrong answer. So now he was done. I was released after I gave my answer. But at the same time, now my stomach is sunken. I feel like, ooh, what's going to come after this? Because we still have to finish this project. And I've given the answer that I've given. And still, I got the same boss. So this was over the weekend that happened. The next work day on Monday, when I encountered her, you could tell when something is off. It's different. The environment has shifted. The temperature is just different. So I'm going to always be respectful. I'm always respectful and responsible everywhere that I go. I try to present myself as reasonable and respectable. So I greeted her, and she greeted back, but it was different. It was cold and short. And from that day on, that lady had nothing to do with me. Nothing. Nothing. I'm not saying she mistreated me. She treated me ugly. She just had no conversation. And soon after, just the powers that be, however they worked that out, that's way above me. She came out of that position. I don't know if she was fired or she requested to resign. I don't know what happened. That was out of my control. I had no more talk about that. I didn't talk about that situation to another peer or an employee who was junior to me. Nobody. I didn't speak of that because it wasn't their business. But at the same time, I didn't get out of sorts. I'm on the job to do what I'm supposed to do. I'm assigned to do what you tell me to do. I'm on the job to do that and stay respectful and stay responsible. But at the same time, where I'm going is, I could have got ugly. I could have started some rumors. I could have instigated. But that's not my position. When we're standing in the kingdom of God, wherever we go, not just in the religious communities. We don't serve God in no religious communities. We serve God out in everywhere we go in life. How we stand up in integrity. How we stand up for what is right. How you position yourself. My position was not to fight. Again, I didn't know why I was being called to the office. I don't know. I was just thrown into something. So, but it was not my intention to fight. So where I want to encourage you at with that is, whatever position you find yourself in, people can be fighting you. They're coming up against you for real. For real, for real. It ain't no joke. You see it. You feel it. You're hearing rumors of it. You may have heard something directly yourself that you wasn't supposed to hear. You know those people are fighting with you. Whether you're at home, they're fighting with you within your family, within your church assemblies, on your job, out in your community, in your neighborhood where you live. Somebody or somebodies is fighting with you. So what is your position? Where do you go with this? Remember, now I'm standing here in 2 Peter. We're looking at two situations there where it says God spared not the old world, but he spared Noah and his family. And he destroyed all those other people because they was unrighteous, and Noah was a righteous preacher. He was speaking about righteousness. People don't want to hear you speak about what's right because righteousness is God's right way. What's right in this matter? What is the right thing to speak about on policies, procedures? What's right? The second example was about Lot. Say the whole city of Sodom was destroyed. Gomorrah was destroyed because of their wickedness. But God pulled Lot and his family out. And we know how Lot and his family was pulled out. Angels came to the city. God sent angels. After Abraham said, would you go and destroy the whole city? Not the whole city. If you find 50 righteous there, would you spare them? Yep. The angels was in agreement. Yep. They already know what's there. Would you spare this city for 30? Yep. Sure will. What about 10? Oh, yeah, we'll spare for 10. It ain't even 10 righteous people there. Are you serious? So they go on to the city and want to stay on the street. Notice these strange faces. They came as men. Said, why don't you come into the house? You don't want to stay on the street. The angel said, we can take care of ourselves. We'll be all right. Staying right here in the city, on the square. So you don't want to do it. They come in the house. So they agreed to come in the house, but other city people in the city noticed them, strangers in the city, say, let us to them. They come knocking on the door of Lot's house. Let us, we saw men come in here. We want them, send them back out here. And Lot said, don't do this. Don't do this wicked thing. But the angels, again, told Lot, come back in the house. Don't worry about that. You come right back in here. So they struck the people with blindness who was groping at the door. So God knows how to deliver you. You watching me. You listening to me. It don't matter how much wickedness going on around you. Whether you like those people, you don't have to fall out with people to notice the wickedness that's going on. You hear their conversation. You see how they're living. And they calling themselves Christian. It don't matter what they call themselves. They're wicked. You hear their conversations, how they set plots against you or somebody else. They're wicked. Because maybe they started off in right knowledge. They're studiers. We're learned people. The humans, we know how to, hey, people are very smart. They're intellectual. It don't matter where they are on the spectrum. They get information. Just because we hold knowledge and information don't mean that you hold them wisdom. Wisdom is the application of knowledge. We have to know what to do with the knowledge. Otherwise, the knowledge can be dead knowledge. And you can use knowledge, whether it's spiritual, it's from the Bible, and you can use secular knowledge and wrap it up all for evil and wickedness to hurt somebody else. You can do it with knowledge. And knowledge will do all of that. That's why knowledge can be dangerous. Danger. Watch yourself. You have to be careful with using knowledge. Even biblical knowledge, because in Matthew 5:44, it tells us, for your enemies, do not curse them. Don't do it. Do not find yourself praying, and in your prayer, you actually cursing people. Don't do it. We're told to love your enemy. Go ahead and love them. If you have the opportunity and the chance to bless somebody, bless them. Don't do them wrong. You know that they're doing you wrong. You hear things about you. Bless them anyway. Have it anyway about yourself. Go on and do it anyway. He didn't ask you. God is the sovereign God. You say he's your God. He gave instructions. The instructions come from top down. It comes down to us. It's our responsibility to accept the knowledge. You all come on in. Thank you for coming into the video. Hit the thumbs up if you don't mind. Keep the video moving through that algorithm so I can encourage somebody else to stop cursing people. Don't curse them because they're trying to do you wrong. You got to stand in the right way with God. God sees everything that we do. You're asking him to defend you. He defended Noah. He saved their family from a world of destruction. Didn't destruction happen? The whole earth, it said, was flooded. Every soul had to go, except Noah and his family. Sent angels in there, said, get Lot out of there and his family. Just bring them out. That's all. Leave everybody else there. So when God sends destruction, oh, it's coming. We don't have to like it. We don't have to agree. We just sit back, but we got to sit in a right place before our living God. So who are you fighting? Who are you fighting? Because the fight that we're told to have is like David prayed. King David, he said, teach my hands to war and my fingers to fight. Or is the other way around? Teach my fingers to war and my hands to fight. In prayer, you do have a fight. You got to fight. But you're not fighting again against flesh and blood, even though that's what we're looking at. That's what we're encountering. It's hard to get that stuff separated because we are flesh beings. And this is the people that we have to walk amongst, move amongst. So it's easy to want to fight people because they're trying to come up against me. And I'd be dang if I'm going to let these people take me down. I'd be dang. I hear them slanderizing my name. I see the plots that they're setting against me. I'm experiencing this. This is my life. I'm affected by this. Vanessa, you can sit on this video and talk about the this and the that about the scripture, but you don't live it. This is my life. Okay, I got you. I can go along with you with that. It's your life. You experiencing it. But you also said, I'm righteous. I'm a child of God. I am a kingdom citizen. So your father, not Vanessa, that's me. Thank you all for coming to the video. My name is Vanessa. I appreciate everybody. Everybody that clicks on this channel anytime, I appreciate any of your time. But let me encourage you again. You ask God to shelter you. You ask God to provide for you. You ask God to defend you. You ask God to use you. You ask God to prep your mouth. You ask God for everything, to heal you, to heal your family members, to deliver them. Then he put a request back to you and I. You have a request on the table. He said, do what I asked you to do. Do it the way I ask you and instruct you to do it. Otherwise, you're just like a dog returning to his vomit. You're turning back to your foolishness. You want to fight, and then you want me to jump on top of you or come alongside you and fight too. I'm not going to fight alongside with you. I will fight for you, but you got to be a peacemaker. You're going to have to just go ahead and love the ones who are hating you. Then they hate you. They abhor you. While they grinning in your face, they abhor you. They can't stand you. Because guess what? We're told that not because of my righteousness, because our righteousness can be as filthy as rags. Not the human being. You're not filthy. But your righteousness can be as filthy as rags. Because you have a self-righteous view of I'm holy. I am the child of God. And people should respect that. Why should people respect that? Because you say you're the child of God. Why? Why can't you be persecuted? Why can't they slanderize you and talk about you? What's making you that special? You're holding yourself in the wrong place. Be humble. Stand with God. He will stand you up in due time how he wants you to stand up. He will send you forth in due time how he wants to send you forth. He will bring your voice before kings. He will bring your voice in the places where he wants your voice to be heard. But you got to be found right with him. Are you going to say the right thing or are you going to say the wrong thing? Just be a head nodder? What you going to do when you get in a place where your voice needs to be heard? So it goes back to, how does God see you? Do you want to be seen right with God? Is that of interest to you? Because it should be. Because you got to fight to enter. People are fighting you. How are you going to fight them back? With your mouth? Are you going to slanderize them? Are you going to talk against leadership? Are you going to talk against dignitaries? Are you going to talk against people who are in authority in government? God is watching. He said, don't do it. Don't do it. Hold your mouth. Hold your peace. Because you're coming out of the world. You're coming out of your own worldly ways, your ways, and coming into a new way. And so for God not to destroy you, because God is a fighter. He's a blesser and he's a consuming fire. And we all know that. You want to be on the right side for God to defend you and to uphold you and keep you in the right way for protection. So and when we're speaking for righteousness, if you have to stand alone, stand alone. If you have to stand alone, stand alone. So that when what's coming downhill, what's flowing downhill, all the chastisement or destruction or the correction, when, like the government is doing now, they're doing downsizing or right sizing of the government, however they want to put that. Now, I'm not saying that everybody who's being laid off and losing their jobs, that they're not in right standing with God. I don't know the whole of this matter. I'm not trying to be presumptuous in that. And yeah, just trying to say that these people are not right. No. Because there could be something, an ulterior motive on the backside of this too. Just because the current administration is conducting an audit at the federal level and all of these departments are being investigated, it could be a right thing and a wrong thing going on at the same time, simultaneously. And what's still wrong will be discovered. It will be discovered, because wrong can't hide and think it's going to stay hidden. That don't work. God has a way that whatever is hidden is just like trying to push a ball underwater, volleyball. It ain't going to stay under there. The more you try to put pressure on it and push it down, it seems to be popping up from somewhere else. You pushing it and it's popping. That's what God would do with anything that's hidden. Anything that's hidden, it has a way of surfacing itself, despite who is trying to hold it down. So God knows how to deliver you. He knows exactly where you are, how you're positioned, who's coming up against you. He knows if you're fighting alone or you have somebody else fighting in prayer. Now, it's a right thing to stand up and show up for yourself too. Everything can't go in prayer, because where there's natural things that you need to defend yourself on in the right way, with the right way being according to laws and policies and procedures, then you got to stand up in the right way. You got to speak up for yourself in the right way. It's irresponsible not to speak up for yourself in the right way. But again, you say you're a person of prayer. Go in prayer, asking the Father, what should you do? How should you handle this? Because it might be that you need to say nothing. You just need to say nothing. You don't need to go and tell your friends. You don't need to tell your BFF. Don't tell them. You told the Holy Spirit. Let him be the ears that hold that. He sees in every room. He have the angels to go in every room. There's ears and eyes everywhere. So where you can't see, they see. Nobody gets away with anything. Not nobody. They can't go to the hills, the highest hills. They can't go to the lowest valley. They can't go hide under a rock. They can't go nowhere where they feel safe or where they think they are safe. If they come against you, okay, that's all right. Let them come up against you, because you must enter a fight. You're a soldier. Get in the fight, soldier, and fight on. Fight with prayer first. Then see what the Father have for you to do. Don't return back to your vomit. That's your old ways. Say, foolish people who behave foolishly do that. You don't have to do that. You're not a foolish person, are you? Don't be foolish. Don't act that way. Stand up in righteousness. Righteousness always prevails. Thank you all for coming into the channel. Give the video a thumbs up if you don't mind. I appreciate all of y'all's time. Take care.